Welcome to section 5.12. This is the 67th session of the ISACA CISA exam prep series. In this session, we'll cover security testing tools and techniques. What is security testing trying to achieve? How does an assessment differ from an audit? What's the difference between scanning and a penetration test? Who are the coloured security teams? How do you test the code itself? And what does a security operations center do? Why does this matter on the job? Because you can't trust a control you never tested. A firewall that looks fine on paper may have a hole. Testing is how you find the hole before an attacker does. And here's the catch you must respect. Attackers use the very same tools you do. Knowing how testing works keeps you a step ahead. So what is security testing trying to achieve? Think of it as a health check with a to-do list. It pinpoints the assets worth protecting. It identifies threats and the weaknesses they exploit. It measures the risk each one poses. And here's what sets it apart. It's proactive, not just a passive review. It tells you how to fix what it finds. It gauges the strength of your controls. And it confirms your systems honour the core security principles. How does an assessment differ from an audit? The words sound similar, but they aren't. A security assessment hunts for risk. It finds, evaluates, and ranks vulnerabilities and threats. Then the team decides which controls to add. A security audit measures compliance instead. It checks your practices against a published standard. Here's the part people miss. An audit doesn't really test your security. It just shows how closely you follow the standard. So an assessment asks, are we secure? An audit asks, do we comply? What's the difference between scanning and a penetration test? Start with the vulnerability assessment. Also called scanning, it finds known weaknesses in a system. It's broad, frequent, and mostly automated. A penetration test goes much further. The tester uses a real attacker's techniques to exploit the weaknesses. One rule is non-negotiable. Get written permission from senior management first. Without it, the whole test may be illegal. There are two ways to run one. Manual testing is thorough and can find hidden flaws. Automated testing is faster, but only covers part of the surface. Before you start, the scope must be crystal clear. Which addresses are in and out of bounds? Which techniques are allowed and when the test runs? And who the contacts are on both sides. A test moves through phases. Planning, then reconnaissance, then the attack itself. Reporting runs alongside all of it. Once inside, the tester escalates privileges and probes deeper. Then writes up the findings with risk ratings and fixes. There are also different flavours of test. External attacks from outside, internal from within. Blind, where the tester knows almost nothing. Double blind, where the defenders aren't told either. And targeted, where both sides know it's happening. But testing carries its own risk. It might miss real vulnerabilities. It might trigger alarms or crash a live system. So it must be run by qualified, vetted professionals. And one ordering tip: scan first, then penetrate, because the scan guides the test. How does ethical hacking compare? It's broader and continuous with no fixed scope. A penetration test is a one-off against a defined target. Who are the coloured security teams? Picture a training exercise with 3 roles. The blue team defends. It detects and mitigates attacks every day. The red team attacks. It simulates real adversaries to test your resilience. The purple team bridges the two. It blends offense and defense to improve your posture. Blue plays continuously. Red and purple work in bursts. How do you test the code itself? There are a few approaches, and the names matter. Static testing reads the source code without running it. It catches flaws early, but misses runtime issues. Dynamic testing runs the application like an attacker would. It has no view of the code, only the live behavior. Interactive testing combines both for broader coverage. Mobile testing adds checks specific to phones and apps. And composition analysis hunts for risky open source components. The simple way to remember it: static reads, dynamic runs, interactive does both. What does a Security Operations Center do? It's a team that watches your whole estate around the clock. Think of it as mission control for security. It keeps an inventory of every asset worth protecting. It tracks the latest threats and monitors for events. It investigates and triages the flood of alerts. Not every alert is a real incident. It manages the security tools and applies patches. It runs its own vulnerability scans and penetration tests. It responds to incidents and recovers systems. And it holds a post-mortem to learn and improve. What about a full network review after testing? Once the penetration test ends, step back and check the big picture. Review the security policies and procedures. Evaluate the firewall and network configuration. Confirm access controls support separation of duties. Check that the network is segmented by trust level and confirm the basics are present: intrusion detection, encryption, and strong authentication. Proper firewall configuration and regular penetration testing, and audit logging on every key system. How do you actually audit security testing? You roll up your sleeves and try things yourself. Inventory the terminals and match them to the network diagram. Take a sample of access cards and try to overreach. Test passwords. Look for them taped to monitors or tossed in the trash. Check that password files are encrypted and unreadable. Verify accounts lock after bad attempts and log off when idle. Confirm inactive logon accounts get disabled. Guard the powerful production utilities tightly. Test that access violations are logged and reported. And check that someone actually follows up on them. Finally, look at the ways security can be bypassed: special maintenance accounts, system exits, and label bypass. Make sure every such use is logged and investigated. Let's bring it together. Testing finds the hole before an attacker does. An assessment asks if you're secure. An audit if you comply. Scanning is broad. A penetration test is deep and needs permission. Blue defends, red attacks, purple bridges. Static reads the code, dynamic runs it, interactive does both. And a Security Operations Center watches it all. Master these and you'll know exactly what your controls can take. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on RooCloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.